repeatedly told by many people this week that I should support Ron Paul, even though he's anti-choice, because he would allow states to enact their own laws guaranteeing a woman's right to control her own body. Or that I should support him despite his belief that all federal programs like Social Security and Medicare must be scrapped, because he would allow states to enact their own programs to support the old and sick. This, in essence, is to say that the United States of America doesn't really exist, or at least doesn't exist as we've known it for the past 150 years. Here's one way in which Ron Paul's unique brand of what I call antebellum libertarianism is well explained. Paul's state chair in Iowa is a member of the Christian right, and an extreme one at that, and he's been lining up social conservative support. One of the pastors endorsing Paul is the Reverend Philip Kaiser, who believes in reinstating biblical punishment for gays, including the death penalty. He said, quote, "Under a Ron Paul presidency, states would be freed up to not have political correctness imposed on them. What he's trying to do, whether he agrees with the Constitution's position or not, is restrict himself to the Constitution. That is something I very much appreciate. This man would be happy to start his theocratic nation in just a state or two and work from there." When I talk about Ron Paul's antebellum politics, this is what I mean, a reversion to the way the country was fashioned before the Civil War. Indeed, all these states' rights arguments stem from the original arguments over slavery. Ron Paul, the anti-drug crusader, believes that states, as opposed to the federal government, have every right to imprison drug users. I think that might surprise some people. And I guess I just don't see why that is considered libertarian. Just because you break up state power into 50 entities instead of one, it doesn't make their infringements on liberty okay. On a philosophical and ideological level, libertarians should be clear that infringements of people's rights should never be subject to the whims of the state, whether that state is Hawaii or the United States of America. So why doesn't Ron Paul say this? There's no reason that his quixotic career couldn't also entail a drive to change the Constitution or ensure that all 50 states overturn drug prohibition. He has nothing to lose by saying that basic individual rights are inalienable, but he doesn't. He defends states' rights to infringe on individual liberty as being under the Constitution. This isn't libertarianism, it's tentherism, disguised as libertarianism. Libertarians who believe that statism is okay if it comes from the state of California, but not the U.S. government, are not only living in the early 19th century, they're basically saying that smaller-scale tyranny isn't their concern. And that isn't liberal or libertarian. It's just plain old neo-Confederate American politics. And perhaps that explains those notorious newsletters better than anything else.